Hello, hello, hello. Let me
What's
switch this
up?
up. How you doing, my sister?
I'm here. I'm blessed.
Yes. We're gonna give it a little time and let everybody come on in. We ask that when you come in, if you could share the live for us. This is our first broadcast of Warriors Speak, and we just want y'all to, listen to us, and we're gonna share some things. Um, help give us a minute, just sharing to some other networks. I just tagged you, sis.
Okay, I appreciate it. I
No
appreciate it.
problem, no problem. And we ask that once you come on, say hi to us, say something so we can see y'all. You can chat with us while we're on here. But as a lot of you know, this is something that myself and my mentor have been trying to do for some time. I think since I was diagnosed the first time, right? I wanted to do a podcast,
Yes,
just really speak to the people, educate our people, you know what I'm saying? And tell our story. And then maybe we can empower and inspire some others. And I appreciate you for being patient, you know, and so that we can get this done.
definitely. This is the first. I'm glad to be here, and due to the unfortunate circumstances, we couldn't do last week, so I'm glad to be here this evening with my sis, so we can start this.
I think it's only right, Lisa, that we, people gonna come and view this later. But I think it's important on our first show, just like you said, we should tell our story. You know what I'm saying? And maybe a lot of people who may know us don't really know what we be going through. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
if you want to go ahead and kick it off,
I can do that.
all right.
Um, Go ahead and kick it off. Make a long story short. um, um, basically, how do I say this? I'm at the age of 51 now, so this started 20 21 22 years ago. When I was misdiagnosed with my first cancer. Um, was working at Verizon residential call center. Um, had got an accident September 1st, 1999. Somebody hit me. So I was seeing a doctor, never had to ever go to the doctor, never been sick for anything, was very, you know, healthy, played sports, basketball, ran track, things like that. So I never had a doctor until I got in the accident, but I was working and I always had these migraines. Didn't know why I had migraines. My supervisor, God bless her soul, Diane Little, shout out. She always kept saying you need to go to the doctor. I would go to work, put my head on the desk, didn't know what was wrong with me. But she went with me when I finally decided to go. And this was around I started at Verizon in 2000. We went on strike right after I got hired. And I think I went around 2001, but she went with me. But that started the journey of the unknown because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I had a doctor that I was seeing for the accident that didn't really care what was going on with me when I was complaining about chest pains. But long story short, jump forward, continue, going to the doctor, taking time off work. Um, and one day, for 2 weeks, I went to him every other day and told him there's something wrong with me. And he gave me a different medication, Xanax, said I was, anxiety, it was this, it was that. I wouldn't take the medication, but I filled the prescriptions. But I kept a log of everything. But one day, it came up on I think a Monday of the started of the third week after being out for 2 weeks. He said, Valisa, he said, we're not gonna, I'm gonna send you back to work because there's nothing wrong with you. And at this
Mm,
point, I was 29 going into 30. And I knew something was wrong with me because it felt like I was having a heart attack or a stroke. I had just drove all the way to Canton, Ohio for a family reunion, came back by myself, and I swore that I wasn't going to make it because the pain hit me so bad that it made me want to go to the doctor. So went to the doctor. He saw me every other day, gave me a different prescription. Then it just got to the point where he said, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm going to send you back to work. So the day that he said he was going to send me back to work, I went to the hospital and sat at Kent General before they were Bay Health
mm,
and sat there for 7 hours in
mm.
the ER until I was seen in the emergency room. And at that time, Dr. Campese was an ER nurse. And I'm thankful for her. After I went through what I went through, I looked for her, but she went on to leave because she went to be with the Katrina victim. She went to New Orleans, NOLO. And
Mm-hmm.
she did a CT scan, everything that I was asking him for, MRI, something to see death, because the only thing he did during those 3 years was give me a blood work and x-ray. But I complained multiple times about the chest pains. So what it came about that there was a tumor size of a large orange, I say grapefruit, underneath
Mm.
my sternum that was attached to my organs, my lungs. It was close to my heart. So I had to have surgery done. It was benign, but because it was growing, it was going to kill me eventually if I was not persistent the way I was or listened to him. And he's saying there's nothing wrong with you. And if I listened to him, I honestly would have been dead by the end of the year of two, 2002 or
Mm.
2001. So basically, um, she ran the test. She put the what you call the frame, the thing up that shows that where the tumor was, and
Oh,
she
X-ray.
printed. Yeah, she kind of basically was upset but couldn't say anything about the doctor. She was really upset. She was red in the face. She like, you take this piece of paper back to him and let him know what we found. So I went back the next day. He didn't think I was going to see him again because he said, nothing was wrong with me. He was going to send me back to work. So I gave him, he said, oh, you back again? I said, yes, I'm back again. And I said, I got something for you. And I gave him the piece of paper from the hospital that said how big the mass was and what they found. And it became a thing where, oh, that's not what they were looking for. Honestly, I don't care what they was looking for. They knew something was wrong with me and they found it. Something
Right.
you should have been dead in 3 years. And the whole time in
Exactly.
that 3 years of you seeing me for an accident, this tumor was growing and connecting to my organs, my lungs. It was attached to my right lung. And when I had the surgery, it was only supposed to take 2.5 hours. It took 4.5 hours because it was attached to my right lung. They had to take half of my right lung. And it was so close to my heart that they had to be careful of how they, went forward. And,
Right.
I didn't know anything until I woke up. But that was the first journey of my cancer journey, because once that was done, I was fine. But then it comes the chemo and the radiation.
Mm.
And uncharted waters, didn't understand,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
and back then, if everybody know that my friends, family, my hair always been long, had
Oh,
beautiful long hair, always had.
always had
And
heels on.
Yeah, heels. I always, people knew how I got down back then. I always kept myself up and still do. But it was just that I heard everything he said. But when he said something about chemo, my hair falling, I think I tuned out, and I was so worried about my hair being
Mm,
vain because of my hair that I
mhm.
felt that it made me everything back then. I'm like, oh my God. He said, you're not listening to me. He said that should be the least of your worries is your hair. I'm like, but my hair gonna come out. He's like, Miss Scott, you got other things to worry about. And I went through the journey of the chemo. I went through the journey of the radiation. And the radiation, I hated worse. The chemo wasn't bad. I did lose my hair. But the
Mhm.
radiation I had to do every day, Monday through Friday for 2 months. And
Mm-mm.
and smack my sis no. I told her, I said it's
Yes.
days that I called and said I could not do it. And they
Mm-hmm.
say, you just adding on to the days. And I said, I don't
I don't
care.
care.
And no, I don't care. I'm getting burned. And when you get radiation, it's not like a literal burn, like when you
It's
are burnt, like you burn yourself. It's your skin, and it changes, and it peels, and it that part is burned because
that
of the
part.
radiation.
Right.
So I had radiation from my neck here to the lower
Mm,
part of my breastbone, right underneath my breastbone, every day, except for the days I missed, but I had to make them up. But during that time, Dr. John, I'll call him Dr. John because I can never pronounce his last name.
yeah, me
He had
either.
just came to Delaware, radiologist, great doctor, very bedside manners and everything.
Yes.
And the thing is that when I was in the hospital, I had the surgeon, he came to see me. I never seen a doctor cry at all, nurses. I was laying there and they explained to me that I had cancer. And my thought was, okay, I got cancer. What can we do?
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't telling me I ain't dying, it's all good. You got it. This is what I got to do. Then I'm going to do it. And they were surprised. He said, it's crazy that you're that young and you took that well, because I have patients that are older and they
Mm-hmm.
can't even take the information that I give them when I let them know they have cancer. I said, well, it is what it is. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's either going to make me better or it's not going to get better.
Right.
And but what came up on the having the radiation and the chemo is that it was hard. And going forward, after I beat all that, they did explain to me that the side effects of the radiation could cause lung cancer or breast cancer. But
Mm.
I never thought about it or anything or dwelled on it because years had went by, but I had went through so much after the chemo and radiation that I had to take leaves of absence from
From
Verizon.
work. Mm-hmm.
I had to take FIMLA a lot because I was out, and people don't understand the struggle I went through, because when you go through chemo, it kills the stuff that it's supposed to handle, but it also kills the good things inside your body that's
Mm-hmm.
is not affected by the cancer.
Right.
So I went through 8 years of hell of not knowing what was going on with me because of the chemo and radiation. I had high fevers unknown. I was in the hospital for a month at Ken General, a month with a high fever, 105, could not break it. They was giving me Tylenol every day, every 3 hours. That's all they
Mm-hmm.
was doing. I was being checked, probed, put into some nuclear CT scan thing that pumped out, took your blood out. They put some type of mercury or something in it, pumped it back in, and try to get, to find out what was going on with me and why I had fevers. And God knows, after a month, the fever went away. Don't know why, how, what. That was in the wintertime, I think of 2002. By
Mm-hmm.
2003, I happened again. I ended up in Christiana because I didn't want to go to Bay Health or Kent General again. And I ended there up there 2 weeks. And it happened again. Some other things along the way, just letting you all know there was quite a few side effects. It even got me to the point where people knew that I used to be involved in modeling and wear my heels, like Smack said. I stayed, with swag and drip. I was just me,
Yeah.
but you never catch me in a sneaker or flat, never. And
Always with
one of
heels
the
on.
things that got me later was I was bedbound. I had just purchased a home in Newcastle, townhome. This is before I had my daughter or anything, and I couldn't climb the stairs. My legs, they just would not work, and they had all these little bruises on them, and they hurt. And I've been to the doctor like I had over the years, and because I've been to so many doctors, when they come back and say, Miss Scott, we don't know, and I was like, y'all know, they turn their head to the side and be like, we don't know. I can't explain it. I said, so you don't have an answer. So I was bedridden for 3 months, couldn't walk, didn't eat because I was so scared to walk because it hurt so bad that I'm telling you, my weight probably went down to like I'm already 6 feet. I think I went down to like 130 pounds, look like excuse my language, but I look like a darn crackhead. I lost weight,
I
mad
do
weight.
feel like that now. What you talking about? See, I'm in the video of myself on this camera,
Like, no,
and I'm
I know,
feeling
but
like
it
that
was
now because
bad.
I can see it in here where I've lost weight.
Oh yeah, you done lost weight too. I know,
Yeah, I see it.
man. And I said I would never want to look like that again. But I'm gonna say this. And my cousin in Chicago, I'm moving a little fast because I don't want to make the stories long because it's a lot in between. But I got back to work and everything. But it was like intermits. I had to be in and out because there was always something wrong, and I always had to go to the doctors. Um, Platelets. They said after I had chemo and radiation that I would not be able to have kids,
Mm,
and that I really didn't care, honestly, being honest, because I was always traveling on the go. I'm like, if I ain't
right.
had kids by 35, I didn't even care because my sister already had at that time probably like 5, 6 kids. So it didn't bother me none at all. But what happened was at the end of in 2000, I think 2008, I was in the hospital again for whatever the side effects were of the chemo, which I found out later. That I found out that um I couldn't come back to work. And Verizon is union. And they let me come to work that one day, and then they said, Lisa, we gonna have to talk to you because they said, you might have to pack your stuff up. I'm like, for what? They like broke it down and said you didn't come back when you supposed to. Well, how am I gonna come back? How am I gonna come back when I'm in the hospital?
That's the part. That's the part right there. I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part. Yeah.
How am I going to come back if I'm in the hospital? I understand my feeling was up, but when someone has a certain illness or something going on and you've been dealing with it this time I've been here at this company, what I've been through.
Mhm.
You should made some type of accommodation. But the end story was that my boss, she was really hurt because she's like, Lisa always said, take care of yourself. Your job is going to be okay. But I'm like, at the end of the day, she had no control because you have a boss over you.
Right.
And
Right.
nobody wants to hear that. And it
Yeah.
was so bad that she did not come to the meeting to 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 release me from my job. She was hurt. She didn't come. She didn't want to face me because the stuff, and I don't blame her
Hmm.
because she said your job would be okay if it was her call. My job would have been okay. But my concern was with Verizon, they paid 100% of my benefits. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? I got to see all these doctors. I made good money from Verizon. But man, I'm like, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, you know, my cousin explained to me, she said, and if people that are spiritual and stuff, and I got away from the church a little bit, and as humans, we think we can always make mountains move and
Yeah.
things, and it's not us that make mountains move at
Right.
all. It's
Yeah.
God. If He chooses it
God.
to happen, it will happen. And my cousin, in Illinois, in Evanston, my cousin Lisa, she said, Lisa, sometimes God wants you to come to Him
There it
and
is.
ask Him and cry to Him and
Mm-hmm.
figure out things. And I'm like, and she put it in perspective. And I'm like, you right. I come from a, family, both sides is Christian. They church. And I should know this. And I'm always trying to figure things out because I am that person. But I couldn't figure this out.
Right.
It just kept happening. And as soon as she said that, I let it go and I prayed and things started to change. And the illnesses I had over those 8 years just went away. I ain't never saw it. I end up walking. I thought I could never wear heels again, could get back in heels. I was like, oh my God, I put my faith and listening to her, but I went on and I had to also put my faith a little deeper into God because I didn't know how I was going to afford to pay the for the doctors that I had to see.
Mm-hmm.
And once you leave a job, you got Cobra. Cobra is expensive. Couldn't
Yeah.
do that.
Over. Yeah.
Yeah, it was expensive. So I end up somehow not knowingly, I thought I was sick again. This was 2008, I think, when Obama became president.
Mm-hmm.
I they when they told me I couldn't have kids, I had a little girl inside of me.
Oh.
My daughter Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that, because of my situation with having cancer, having had the chemo and the radiation, I did not carry Hannah full term. I carried her to 31 weeks. She was 2 pounds and 13 ounces. I lived in the hospital every day except for one day on a Saturday. I was there every day. And she was 21 and a half inches long. That was another issue. She was tall. She was
Mm-hmm.
long, so you imagine if I got the full term with her, she probably would have been 23 inches. She was pushing
Right.
everything every which way. But the moral of the story is that when I got there, my something was real low. My inner body, and the one thing if people don't know about me, but I told Smack, I have a high tolerance for pain. So when I'm in pain, I don't know I'm in pain. I have to have blood pressure taken to
Mm-hmm.
find out if I'm really like high in pain. So it was to the point where my body was shaking that my internal was like, you crazy, you're in pain. So I went to the hospital to have her, and I had to end up having a emergency C-section because something was so low, but the doctors could not understand why or how I even survived. They said you should have been dead.
Look at God, though. We gotta
Yeah,
take a
look at
moment, like that. Like, God. Look, a lot of people don't understand. Like God, our God is a jealous God. He wants us to love on Him. And you just said that, and I'm not trying to be a pastor. Just what my God has put on me. That
yeah.
when you became closer to Him, every ailment you had started dropping off. They told you you wouldn't be able to have kids, and here we are.
Yep, she's my miracle child.
Yes.
And they don't know how I even lived to have her because the place where I was living in West Dover was a condo and you had to be buzzed in. And somehow my ex sister in law, my best friend Lisa, is another Lisa. She like, come out with me, come out to the casino. I'm like, nah, man, I feel real bad. I'm like, I'm really feeling bad. But if it wasn't for her telling me to come out and go to her house afterward because I wanted to go home. But if I had went home, I don't know if I'd be here telling this story or Hannah would be here telling the story. But I stayed at her house. She got to the hospital the next day, and that's when they explained to me, and I became a medical study, Hannah and I, because I was on the back wall for some months, I think almost a year, because they did a study to understand. They did not understand how or I even survived, but only God. It's only God. That I'm telling you, people don't understand. I've been. God has stepped into my life to save me from 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 6 different times that I should not have been here.
Right.
And sometimes I think it's my mom as an angel looking over me. But what I want to say is that moving forward beyond that, in 2009, I had her and spent the 2 months with her until she came home. My child is a healthy child. There's nothing wrong with her. She's 5'10". She's about tall as I am. And she has no issues, because most time when they premature, they tell you that they're going to have learning issues or they're going to be, slow in these things. There's nothing wrong with my child but her mouth right now. That's about it.
Don't say that about baby girl. She's
Yeah.
she out
But she a
there getting her
teenager.
volleyball on.
Yeah, she a teenager, so that's what they do. But moving forward, everything was fine, and it puts us here 6 years ago. I had built my house, got a new house, started building it, and during the process, found out I had breast cancer, and that's from me seeing something on my chest and thinking it was a bruise from me building my house, and it wasn't. Found out of May 2018, and by June 26th, I had surgery to have a unilateral right mastectomy,
Mm.
and it was hard because I'm like, God, I got cancer again. And I'm like, okay, if this is not bad as it is, they'll be able to take care of what they need to take care of, and my life is still, I still have life. It was a struggle going through chemo again, losing my hair again, but I wasn't as vain as I was before, because I'm like, oh, it will grow back.
Right.
And it did. It might not be as thick as it was before, but it's still hair. But I'm older now. I look at it as the situation was, it's not in my family. I have no breast cancer on both sides of my family, mom or dad. They tested me for BRCA1 and 2. And basically it came from the radiation I had from my neck to the bottom of my breast, my chest, my breastbone. And they consider that environmental. So I had to make a choice to decide to do a double mastectomy or just do the unilateral. And because it wasn't hereditary in my family, I did the unilateral mastectomy procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a strong person. People consider me superwoman. I'm always doing something, but sometimes superwoman needs a break too.
Yeah.
Mentally,
Mm-hmm.
you go through a lot. I'm a strong person, and I always around people that I can help people, like my sister Smack. And people call me and say, Lisa, you've been through cancer. How can I do this? I help people with the Social Security disability. I'm their listening ear. If you need me, go to the doctor. I've been there. I've come since I've gotten through my breast cancer. I've been that extra ear or friend or mentor for anyone that needs my help, or they say, Lisa, I got a cousin. Can you talk to them? Because nobody told me anything. This is where we get it. Nobody told me anything. I had to learn from the social worker in the oncology department, and I knew more than what she knew. organizations that can help you financially.
Yeah.
Because, honey, after that, I worked all the way up to the last day before my surgery. I worked all the way up to 1 o'clock that morning, and I had surgery. I had to be at the hospital by 6, and my cousin Tony Cummins took me. And it wasn't that, because I had a major job at the time where I was getting people out of the nursing home for the state of Delaware, and I was the only person working from the top to the bottom. Getting these people out, veterans, people that have been in long term for so long, and the state felt it was cheaper to get them out and pay their rent and stuff. I was doing this. And the reason why I feel that I ended up with breast cancer is because I missed 2 years, and I was doing that program Monday, not just Monday through Friday. I was working on Saturday trying to get these people out, because they really counted on me to get them out of the nursing home and find them a place to live, and get the nurses and everyone in place. But unfortunately, I neglected myself for 2 years.
Mm.
And in that 2 year time, I ended up with a big lump. I can't say what size, and a smaller lump. And unfortunately, it is not, I lost something, but I didn't lose my life. So
Hey,
I
Lisa,
I I'm
pause.
at a point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's pause for a second. If I get everybody who's tuning in to just share our live, this is our first show. It's called
Yes.
Warrior Speak, and we're just sharing our stories. And if y'all could just hit the share button for us, it's just to educate people, give people who may be going through some type of ailment, or maybe going through, a cancer scare, giving them some type of inspiration. So if you could share the live, we really appreciate it, or
Yeah.
tag someone you may know. This is my mentor, Lisa Scott. And we're going to get to my story shortly, but her story is what inspired me, and it's important that you guys get to hear it. I do want to give a couple of shout outs. Lisa, I don't know if you can see it. I'm posting the comments up as I see them. I'm trying not to forget anybody, but I do want to say big shout out to Ms. Ross. Big shout out to Veronica Pitts,
Yes.
Felicia Rivera, our sister. Thank you, John Stout. Um,
Yes.
we see all these messages, the courage and strength you ladies bring to the table are inspirational and lifting to all who are listening and watching. And we just appreciate y'all. This is something that's been on, something Lisa and I talked about, what, back in 20 last year,
Yes. Yes.
23, somewhere around there. Something
Yes.
wanted to do, because I thought it was very important that we touch people, that we let people know what we have coming for y'all. It's gonna blow your mind. You're gonna hear other stories from other warriors. You're gonna hear about people who hear from people who have resources. It's just a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all for sharing it. Thank you, Valerie Wellbon. I
Yeah.
really
Thanks, Val.
do. Making sure I don't forget nobody else. We really appreciate Caesar. Thank you. Big shout out to House of Peach, who is sponsoring our show. Thank you so much, P. We really appreciate you. Okay, sis. Oh, big shout out to all the way my boy Care Beasy. What's going on, my brother? He said, "Hey, I'm having a little chemo fog. I'm trying to remember. I think
Yeah,
he's
that chemo brain kicking in.
or I can't remember exactly where he is, but it is not in Delaware. You can tell by the way he's talking. Love you, my brother. I'm glad you're back to yourself. Please share the live. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Oh, there's Miss Denise Dudley. Thank you for coming in. So we're going to continue. We appreciate you sharing. All right, go ahead, Lisa.
Well, just a long story short is, um, just basically, I had to go through a lot, and this last cancer bout, my daughter was Hannah's 15 now. She was 10, 9, 10. It was hard for her. It was really hard for her to see me be that way because I lost all my hair, and she's at an age that, she going through things in school, and she had to come in the house and take off her clothes because she couldn't hug me, because what people don't understand is you get chemo, but they give you a immune booster, and it's
Mm-hmm.
called Neulasta.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Neulasta for me, huh? Yeah, I was allergic to it. They tried to tell me, "Oh, you can't be. Nobody's ever been allergic to it." Well, I am that 1%. I tell doctors from the beginning when I first had cancer, I was that 1% because something was always wrong with me, and they thought something was something else, and it wasn't with me. So after the second time taking Neulasta, and the side effects I had from it, and you have to understand, Neulasta is this syringe, little syringe,
Little.
$10,000 for
Mm-hmm.
a squirt in your arm, in your back of your arm, to boost your immune system. But I was allergic to it. It was doing stuff to my body, making my mouth raw. Like, how you eat a piece of hot food and it burns the whole
Mm-hmm.
inside of your mouth? That's what I was going through, besides some other female things where it felt like I was having a bad UTI that I didn't even want to use the bathroom. So I
Mm-hmm.
told them I wasn't coming the day after, because with chemo, I had to wait a day after or 2 days after to go back and get this booster. So when I didn't return, I explained to them I didn't have any problems.
They,
So
they ain't know what was going on, huh?
yeah, I told them you got to be proactive, because a doctor is your doctor, and they tell you, well, you don't need to do anything that you do not want to do. And as I told Smack, you control your narrative. You control your narrative, because they say, well, you need this and you need this. You have the option to say, I don't think, let me do my research. I don't know if that's gonna, be right for me. If I'm telling you that Neulasta, I'm not doing it because it's $10,000. I'm doing it because it was affecting my body, and I didn't like it. I did not like it. So therefore, I stopped taking it. And unfortunately, with that, I couldn't be around people. I couldn't be around people. My potassium end up tanking half the time, going below the level. And one day I went to go get chemo, and they told me you can't go home. They had to rush me to the emergency room because I had to be pumped with potassium. And they like, you're not going home today. Jen, God bless her soul, that's the nurse. That's our nurse.
That's our
And
nerve.
yeah,
Y'all
we
hear,
love
y'all
her.
wait till y'all get to my story. It's just so amazing, and that's how I know God is is working in both. He. Let me tell you, you just wait. Don't you go nowhere. You're gonna hear the same, and that's how
Yes.
God brought this together.
Yes, and Jen was there, and she's like, Lisa, you not gonna be able to go home. I said, the devil is a lie. She said, no, your potassium is low, and that was she said, because you don't get the Neulasta, your immune system is really compromised. And I had to stay in for a few days, but I did end up in the hospital in 2018 twice, before Thanksgiving for 2 weeks, and after Thanksgiving in December for 2 weeks. I went to homecoming. I should have never went to homecoming, knowing that I wasn't feeling well, and I should have been around all those people. But anytime you get a fever, you have to go to the hospital. And I was feeling bad. And if people don't understand, man, I gotta explain this. When your potassium is low, I can't explain it. It took an hour. It took an hour probably for me to every day to get dressed, because it felt like the Matrix. Like, you see yourself moving to put your pants on, but you out of breath by the time you get
Oh,
the one leg up to the
oh,
knee. You breathing hard and not
yeah.
knowing what's going on. You moving so slow. I move slower. At that time, moved slower than a sloth did. And it
Mm,
really unnerved me. But the weekend of the homecoming went out, was over at I think it's Tavern something now by the post office, down there with some friends and stuff. And I was feeling bad. I went home and laid down, And I was like, I had to call my best friend, Paul. God rest his soul, he's no longer here. But I had to call him, and he took me to the hospital, and I was admitted, and I was in there for 2 weeks, and I found out I had pneumonia. And these are the things that can happen when you go through taking chemo. It happens.
Yeah.
And it was the worst time because my daughter had to see me going through it, and it changed her because she used to be a very outgoing person, and to see, your mother go through the things, and she was dealing with stuff in school that it kind of broke her spirit. And now it's like she's always worried about me, and I tell people, someone asked me, like, when did you tell your daughter? I said I told her as soon as I knew what was going on. I told her right before I had the surgery, so she would know this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Because I'm not going to not say anything to her. Being that age, my hair coming out, she looking at me, freaking out. No, I need to tell you the stages of what I'm going to go through. And when you come home, you have to drop straight out of your clothes, get in the shower, put some fresh clothes on before you can come and touch me. No kids at that age should have to see their parents like that.
Right.
But I'm glad that she understands. She understands. But we are at this point in my life that I'm still blessed. I'm cancer free, but I still got to take the medications that are required. I've had several surgeries. uh, Breast reconstruction. I just recently had a surgery, and this was preventive for any women that's out there. It's preventive. It was for me because I already had cancer twice. But the medication they give you to block I have HER2 positive, and the medication tamoxifen, it actually prevents or help block that blocker so I don't get cancer as well. But because I didn't have any periods from the first chemo of 2018, it didn't matter to me. And Hannah was my only child. I wasn't planning on having any more kids. So instead of having a DNC every 2 years, I made the decision to have a full hysterectomy. July 31st. That was my last surgery. I got one more surgery, but it's just what do you want to call it? Cosmetic touch up on my top. But that was a more serious surgery because they took everything out. So they prevented any cervical, uterine, ovarian cancer, all that. So it kind of hurt me because I felt like I was going to be less than a woman because I already had something taken before. But I said at the end of the day, I'm still here. Ain't nothing but God. And I have people in my life that still care for me and love me the way I am. So I'm thankful for that. But one thing that people don't understand, and I'm going to close on, because like I said, I want to make my story short because it's very long. But when you leave your ovaries, when the doctor leaves them, you is susceptible to getting, or if you had cancer, getting ovarian cancer. So a lot of people would say, well, I should have told my doctor, he just should have took everything. If you can have a full, most time they don't, because they don't want you going to early menopause if you before 40 years old. That's why they keep the ovaries. But if you're not planning to have any more kids, definitely no any more kids, and you're not worried about menopause and you've had cancer, I would say have the full hysterectomy. Just take everything out. I had questions, I had concerns, and I'm fine. Nothing's changed with me. Nothing's changed. And when I say nothing's changed, nothing changed. What'd you say?
Except for I had to tell you sit down somewhere.
Yeah, because I'm always doing something. And you can't lift anything more than 10 pounds for 6 weeks, and you can't have sex. That's about it. But other than that, I'm feeling great. And I'm here where I'm at in my life now, trying to do this thing with my sis Smack. Like I said, my story is longer, but I'll give you the short version. But I am blessed to still be here, and by God's mercifulness, that I'm here. I'm
And he
here.
is so amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna hear God a lot through us sharing our stories. And as you tune into our show, you're gonna hear us talk about, especially me talk about my God. You know what I'm saying? So, man, where do I start? Like, I'm just, when you get ready to turn 50, doctors want you to take all these tests, okay? And y'all know we had COVID before, but I was already getting mammograms. But I during COVID time, I didn't go because I was scared I might catch something. You know what I mean? I would just go to work, come back home because we were essential, employees. And so when I went to go get my mammogram, I was like, okay, we good. You know what I mean? Everything's good. I was happy that day until I got a call. Was it the next day, 2 days later, something like that? At telling me that I needed to come back in and they needed to do some further testing because they saw something on the mammogram files. And look, I got a little chemo fog, so I'm gonna say what comes to my mind because I got a little chemo fog. I might not get the right word. So anyway, we go and it confirmed that there was something there. I had a spot in my right breast. So now is to go and find out if it's cancerous. So I went to the place. If my mama was on here, she would remember the name. I don't know, remember the name of the place, but they treated me wrong. That's the first thing. They treated me bad, y'all. And so we found out that I ended up going somewhere else because of the way they treated me, but we did find out that I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I must say, though, like everything happened very fast. So, I was like, say what? And I'm thinking about my life, things that I had going on, you know, um, like why is this happening now? And you dare not question God, but I did. I ain't gonna lie, question him. I'm like, talk to me, tell me what's really good, like what's going on, because I just never thought, I would get this. So anyway, I was keeping a lot in, and so I made the announcement on Facebook, and thank God Lisa saw it. And there were a lot of people who were in my inbox, but like I said, God speak to me through my stomach, and her message, and I wasn't responding to nobody, but her message was always coming to the top of my messenger. So I was like, all right, let me reach out. And I told her I was scared. Remember, I text you, I said I'm scared. And
Yes.
since then, that's when the bond started. And she told me not to be scared. She gave me comforting words.
Yeah, that my favorite thing is don't worry until you have to worry.
Yep,
Never put
yep,
yourself, because we hear these things and we start worrying, and
mhm,
sometimes it may not be what it is.
yep,
So my thing was you was don't worry until you have to worry.
yeah. But everybody, you know me and my anxiety.
I know, I know.
And I'm telling you, like from the first day that I had to go and meet with the doctor, Dr. Newell, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. When Lisa stated, you hearing all this, I just could not. What this woman says she wanted to do, I just couldn't think. I'm gonna be real. It's like she's talking. I see her mouth moving, but I'm so glad I had you there so that you could translate back to me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I remember I she told me that she gave me what like a week to think about it. Everything went so quickly.
It goes fast. It goes fast.
So I went in there and I said, "Oh yeah, I know what I want to do. I wanna, I'm a tomboy. I'm gay. Take them all off. I ain't gonna need them. Just take them off. I don't need them. I don't need them. And the doctor started laughing. I don't say it in my mind. What the F is so funny? I'm serious. Take them. I wanted to have a double mastectomy. And she says, well, Miss Matt, you're still young. Okay. And we just don't give people double mastectomies because they want it. Well, why would you, tell me to think about it? And I know y'all were pushing for lipectomy. This is my body. So when that woman said, I promise you it won't come back, I took her on her word because this supposed to be the top doctor, you know what I mean, in Delaware. So I took her on her word and I got the lipectomy. Um, I went in on the 5th of July. So I'm thinking, okay, we got that done. I said, oh, this ain't bad. This is all right. But when they start talking with I had to go see an oncologist. I'm thinking they cut it out and we done. I'm back to work. Nah. So get to the oncologist, and I'm like, chemo and radiation. I'm like, wow. So Lisa began ministering to me, began talking to me, even encouraged me to probably go see, like a doctor to help with my mental because I really thought I was losing it. You know what I mean? And my life changed, really changed. And Lisa mentored me through my whole process because I was like, yo, that's right. I control the narrative. You know what I'm saying? I went up in there one day and I told them that I controlled the narrative. I cannot do chemo today. I think I need some hydration. I'm dry. My skin is dry. I'm itching in places. It was
And
like,
you
oh,
lose your nails. You lose your nails.
yeah.
Your toenails too.
Yeah. And then man, when I tell y'all, I just thank Lisa because I used to send her pictures of everything. I'd be like, yo, all this skin came off my feet, man. But my skin was still there. It's like I felt like God was shedding my body, taking this old body and giving me new. And then when my hair started falling out, that's when I lost it, y'all. Anybody that truly know me, I always keep a tight haircut. Used to
Hmm.
with the waves. That was me. Fade on the side. And man, when my hair started falling out, woo, Lord help me. That's when I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go here and go bald. I'm not gonna sit here and keep watching my hair fall out. Remember, I called you. I think we talked like 35 minutes about this. I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I know Lisa's like, yo, why we really talking about hair? I told you your hair gonna fall out. But I was really having a mental breakdown, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And then my mom was like, oh, you'll be fine. My mom was comforting me. I gotta give it up for my mom, man. Big shout out to everybody called her mom.
Yeah. Queen Smack. Yes.
Man, my mom, man, because she been through it. You know what I'm saying? And so that chemo was I thought it was hard at the time until I had to do radiation. I feel like radiation was
That's what
worse.
I said. Radiation is.
Yeah, radiation is a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
Um, I never, I never really appreciated bras until I started going through. I couldn't wear a bra for a long time, and my treatments, my numbers were up there. um, because I was a big-breasted woman. You know what I'm saying? So I went through a lot of treatments. There was weeks that I like I can't come. I am so miserable. This is the worst pain. And I remember you talking about the Neulasta. Mine went on my stomach, and that's what helped me. It produces what, more white blood cells or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine
Hmm.
went on my stomach. So I got that through chemo, and I had the worst of the worst. And like Lisa had, where it will pull your hair out. They call it red devil. And so I'm gonna tell y'all how I got my breast cancer. Mine was HER2 positive. And so when I was in my early 30s, I had a hysterectomy because of uh, passing, what do you call those things? Fibroids, the size of rocks on the side of the tracks, the train tracks. And so they left my ovaries in. And so, help me if I say this wrong, Lisa, my ovaries produced too much estrogen,
Estrogen. Mm-hmm.
which caused me to get breast cancer. Went through the genealogy and all that. No, I'm the first out of my immediate family. It wasn't passed down to me, is basically what I want to say. And so, I ended up getting fired from my job. And if it wasn't for the resources that my sister Lisa had, I started having a mental breakdown and having panic attacks, because I'm like, how am I going to pay these bills? Because you see on my chart what it costs to get this treatment, and I'm like, my insurance gone. But thank God I was able to get Medicaid. Thank you, Lord. My job let me go. They wanted me to come back to work after I had chemo. What I look like coming back to work with no bra on and then feeling like I just caught on fire? Y'all not. Do you understand? Like when I'm home, I'm with no shirt on, just laying on the bed, letting the fan hit it because it hurts so bad. I mean, they actually give you cream that they give burn victims that are burned in a fire to help you heal. So
Mm-hmm.
I lost skin from up here all the way to the middle of my back. And Lisa called me every day. Some days I'd be crying with her on the phone. I was in so much pain. So I always tell people, like the chemo was a breeze. You know what I'm saying? But that radiation is something different. So I fought mine for a year and a half almost. And I found out this past May that I was cancer free. So I remember being so daggone happy, but I still had these pains. And I was telling them about, yo, I got pain in my neck, pain in my shoulder, pain here, pain over here. I would just, you know, like they would just send me to the what's it called, the Bay Health Orthopedics, and all they do is give me a X-ray. Then my thumb kept getting locked, so they put this little splint on here. So this went on for months. Okay, so then I was telling my dad about it, and my dad about it. My dad said, "Did they give you a PET scan?" I was like, "Well, what's that?" I said, "No, I ain't getting no PET scan. Um, that's the private one, sis. I'm sorry." I said, "No, I ain't getting no PET scan, Dad. You know what I'm saying?" And I'm sorry, I'm gonna come back to y'all. Ariandra Jones Bay said, "Hey, cousin Lisa."
Yeah, I seen her.
Yeah,
Ari,
yeah.
love
And
you, cuz. Thank you.
when you get the letter in the mail, talk about, because I had to go get a mammogram after everything was done. Go get a letter in the mail, and they tell you to your face that you're cancer free. You feeling good. It's like ringing the bell all over again. I rang the bell for chemo February the 9th. They now got a bell down in the radiation department. I thought I'd let you know.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I got to ring it on this second go round. So I kept having these pains. So one day, laying in the bed, and I said, "Babe, I said my chest. I'm having chest pain." And so we went to Middletown. This is in June. End of June, we went to Middletown emergency room, and they wanted to check my heart, so they ran all kind of tests. And so they just gave me what's it called? I take it to this day, cyclobenzaprine, Flexerol to help me with the pain. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. But the second time, which was within a week and a half, I see, yo, I'm hurting worse than ever. Something going on. So this time I demanded that they give me a CT scan when I went to the emergency room, and that's when they found a picture of a tumor on my vertebrae and told me that I needed to call my oncologist. The doctor that was in that emergency room did not want to touch it. He said, you need to, I'm going to send him a message, and you need to handle it. And so they sent me, my doctor sent me for MRI first. And that's when it showed everything. I had tumors and all up and down my neck, and then down my, what's it called, the mid back, the upper back, right around this area. So found out that my breast cancer has spread. So my thing is I had to. They gave me a call on I forget what day it was, and told me I needed to report to the emergency room as soon as possible. And I said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Miss Smack, they'll explain everything when you get there." I said, "No, you explain it to me." She said, "Well, Miss Mack, you need to go to the emergency room, and we're gonna admit you so that we can get Dr. Sawney wants to get some steroids in you." I said, "Okay." Me not thinking about it, I just knew I was going to get steroids. So for someone to be happy for like about a month and a half, Lisa, I was right.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was right back to square one. Okay,
Yep.
I and so I get in there, finally get up to my room in the hospital. They started pumping the steroids in the emergency room, and then they kept me for, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. I can't remember. And then all I know is I started radiation very next week, so that we could break up the tumors. But we needed the steroids so it would not hit my spine, and that's where I could get paralyzed or whatever. I'm sorry if I'm leaving out the technical words, but I think God, and I'm in my second bout, so now I'm stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, HER2 negative. I started off HER2 positive, but now I'm HER2 negative, and I am doing 2 types of chemo pills. One of them I will probably be on for the rest of my life. They said we're just trying to get me into remission. This is not curable, but it is treatable. And it's taken me a while, but I can honestly say I'm adjusting to my new way of life. There are a lot of changes. Um, in the beginning, the medicine is in me now, and I'm a fighter and still fight like smack. I really appreciate like my sister Lisa, because I could call her at any time. And there's days that I'm low, and there's days I may not answer my phone, and that's thank you, Mimi. There's days that I don't feel like dealing with nobody, y'all, and it's nothing against y'all. It's just that I'm not trying to come off negative. I just be in my own world, and I always said that this time right here is like real personal. But I'm hoping to make some changes. Lisa and I both, the PET scan is very important. When they showed me my PET scan, it looked crazy, right? And anybody that's going through, I'll just try and give some advice, because I don't want to, keep talking about my face, because it does bring, make me a little upset. But I'm a strong person. because God has brought me through so much. My situation has brought me so closer to my God. I tell everybody all the time, my God crazy about me because
Yeah, she did.
job while fighting, and it is nothing but God that kept sending angels and everybody my way, like, yo, just like going to go pay your electric bill, and it's already there's a credit on there. I ain't questioning nothing, but let me go ahead and add what I was gonna pay on there, because what's gonna happen next month, you know what I mean? And you know, truly blessed, truly blessed. And just thinking about all the surprises. I mean, my birthday has started there. Like, you know, I'm like, Mom, I don't know what we gonna do. But God made a way and is still making a way. You know, I'm gonna stop there because I'll get emotional thinking about how good God is to me. But my testimony, y'all will hear it soon. Man, when I tell you the cable never went off, my rent was paid. My electric, I was never in the dark. Just think, I just told y'all I fought for a year and a half. Halfway through, my job got rid of my position. But when, this the one, Lisa, but when I finished doing all those treatments, God blessed me with a better job. Woo!
Yep, sure did.
Still thinking about it. And I'm still at that job. I work from home and go in a couple of days. I'm at a point where I can go in for those couple of days. And y'all can talk about my hair all y'all want. I'm scared to get it cut because my immune system is out there, and everybody know I like a sharp cut. But I'm trying to hold on to my hair as long as I can. But she's out there. She's long. I just got to
Yeah,
down.
yeah, she go
It's and
definitely.
I just want to say, like, I appreciate you, Lisa. You know, you probably hear me say this all the time, but I really appreciate you because there was one point I thought I was losing my mind.
Oh yeah,
It wasn't for the conversations and like the stuff you poured into me, I've been pouring into other people to help them.
and that's why we doing this,
And that's
cause
why we doing it. Like, yo, you know, even men had a male friend who was going through, and I helped him seek and get services because his was not good. And so I
yeah,
explained to him that Medicaid has two different types. You may want to go this way, my brother, and gave him the numbers. You know, you're entitled to a social worker. And he was up at Helen Graham. I said, you tell them you need a social worker and you're about to lose your house. They got funds. You know, keep it real. Like,
and
thing, and we'll get into it, but you know, Lisa, was a you was like, yo, you could talk to me because you already knew, us as black people, people of color, we're very prideful and we don't like to tell people our business, and we
mm-hmm.
keep it under the keep it under the wraps, but we can't be doing that because
Yeah.
you need to
It's
help.
not even about being private in your business. Sometimes your story or your testimony
Hmm.
can help someone because you don't know who it could help. You just never know. I was like that in the beginning with my first cancer. I didn't want to be out there and telling people, and I lost my hair, this and that, because I was younger. I was 29 going into 30. This time I was, 45, 50. Yeah, 45. But I'm older and wiser now. It's not all about the perception of way people look at you. People always looked at me as Lisa Scott. Like, people know me. They knew me. I didn't want them to see the weaker side or that side of me. But now I'm older. I don't care anymore because you get over it.
Yeah, because
Yeah, a little bit of hair. I wore my hair when it was growing. It was curly. I wore it short, and it has grown back, but it's thin. It's fine now. But I mean, it's not. That's the last thing I think about now. Is that I still got life. I'm breathing, and I'm grateful to be able to open my eyes every day. Because again, uh, a lot of people don't get up every morning. You know what I'm saying? And the song is "One in a Million."
Yeah,
I'm one in a million.
one in a million.
Did one in a million that made it, not that didn't make it, but I'm blessed
There it is.
for sure.
And you know, that there have been times, and I'm being very transparent. There have been times I was like, yo, man, if Lisa didn't keep telling me you control the narrative, smack, come on, need you snap out of it. That was times I was about, I told her I can't do this. And she just poured into me, fight like smack. Remember what you just kept pouring in things into me.
I had to, because when
You could
you
see
take
it
on that negativity,
right.
you
Mm-hmm.
got to have positive people around you. You can't have negative people around you, because if you already sick and your body is taking on what it's taking on, you don't need a bunch of negative thoughts or negative minds, negative people. You have to have positive people around you, because you want to be, positive and think that life is optimistic, that you have some type of hope. You don't need
Mm-hmm.
somebody there saying, I don't know why you're doing that, because you don't need that. I don't need that. And I don't like being around negative people. I don't. I'll walk away. I don't, entertain it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Life too short, and I know this. And we, we'll be talking about it through the next podcast we have.
Yeah.
But I lost quite a few friends, and we gonna get to that, because us as Black people, we got to be proactive. We have to listen to our body and not let doctors work for us. They work for us. It's not the other way around. Without
Exactly.
us, they wouldn't have a practice. They wouldn't have anything. So when you have these doctors that were cocky with me, saying that's why we the doctors, and people out here diagnosing themselves. Well, sometimes we don't have the faith in the doctors. That's why we trying to figure out what's wrong with us. We might have the wrong diagnosis, but I'm doing more better than what y'all do. I went through the years not knowing what was wrong with me. The time after the first cancer, 8 years going through the high fevers, 105 and months and weeks, and me not being able to walk, and they thinking I had HIV because my platelets was wrong. I had to keep going to John Hopkins. I left that out because it was a story. And after 3 years, they tested me for every 3 months for HIV, and they like, well, this can't be low unless you got it. No, I didn't have it. It was
Mm-hmm.
the side effect of having chemo. It kills or whatever it needs to do for that
Yeah.
that that cancer, but it takes also the good
Good, the
from
good
you.
stuff. Yeah,
And
because
you get affected by that, and things are
mhm,
never the same. My life changed. I couldn't eat certain things. Now with this chemo, I'm I can't take any type of drugs. I can't get a vaccine. I can't do any of that. I carry an epi now. It's a lot of things that we all need to talk about, and we want to get the information out there. I know it's getting late, but we got a lot to talk about. We wanted to get our stories out the way, and
yes,
things will come through, and we gonna have some guests
yep,
on,
yep,
and
we
they can tell
definitely
their
are.
story. And we gonna have this talk. It's not gonna be a debate, because it's nothing to debate about. It's about us as Black women, Black men. We got to do better and not and control our narrative and be proactive with your health.
Right, and that's very important. We're gonna be talking about that and the different things. Like, you don't let a doctor tell you, they're gonna tell you what's best for you, but you gotta do your homework too, because at the end of the day, like I'm a Black woman. You can't treat me like, and I don't have problems with Caucasian people, but I'm a Black woman. Our bodies are different, and you can't keep pumping this chemical into me So that's why I control the narrative, and that's why I say this time is personal. So sometimes some people could come along, but I kept this circle tight this time because it was hard when I found out this second time what I had to go back through. And it's I take a pill, and I take a after we get off of here, I'm gonna be taking this pill. It's called Ibrance. We're gonna talk about that. It's hard to believe. There it comes in the box, shipped to me. 3 weeks on, 1 week off. We're gonna talk about that too. But it's hard to
Yeah,
believe.
we're gonna talk about different things that you can do natural, juicing and
Yeah,
stuff like things like that. But we'll get to it.
we're gonna get to it. All of that good stuff. So look, we thank y'all for tuning in. Sorry that we got started a little late. This is our first show, so it happens. But I appreciate everyone who has tuned in. We will have, as we go on, we will have. You could donate to Fight Like Smack. We're gonna start pouring back into our people as well, those who may need, help, and we'll be looking for mentors. I don't want to put everything out there. This is the
Right.
start right here, okay? So you guys, thank you for tuning in to us. I do want to shout out some people who came on. We love you too, Felisa. Thank you, Brandy. Shut them down. Child, she said, keep telling y'all stories. God is good. Veronica Pitts, she said, this was great. Thanks for sharing, ladies. This podcast will help so many people.
Yeah, she'll be one of our guests too. She's a second two-time warrior, my cousin-in-law. Yeah.
That's
So
what's
we
up.
got some people on here. We got it.
Big shout out to my sister in Texas. Love you, baby. It's pineapples, baby. I love you, sis. Um, Shout out to Tony C. She said, but God, appreciate that. Is
All right. Okay.
your cousin Tony?
Yes, yes, yes. We gonna have them all on. We gonna have them all.
On here too. Yeah, I got her T-shirt.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mimi Lacrosse. She was helping me. She said that's the thoracic. I don't be doing all that stuff. Your Is it your niece Ariana?
Jada. Yeah.
Jada was on here. Sean,
Yes. From Texas.
I
Yeah.
appreciate all of y'all. Valerie, everybody.
Appreciate you all.
We appreciate you all. Continue to share this live, even when we get off. It could help someone. It
Yes.
could empower them because I'm telling you, I keep telling you, Lisa, man, you the truth, man. Look, I'm still standing, y'all, and I'm in my
Still
second.
standing and still fighting. And
Yes,
I'm fighting for the ones that are no longer here to
yep,
fight. And and we'll do a roll call the next time
yep. We're gonna do a roll
because
call.
I want to pay respect to everyone that have fought the fight, um, and is
It's been
not here to
for
tell
us.
their tale.
Yep, it's
So
been 2024 for you, Lisa. Very
what you
rough.
say, Smack?
I said it's been a rough 2024 for you, my sister.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
And I just lost my very good friend, known her for many years. We're going to do a roll call the next time. We're going to do something real nice. So we'll be back again live in 2 weeks, not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. Hit us in our inboxes if you would like to be a part of our show. We are starting to plan for January. So hit us up, okay? Thank
All
you all
right.
so much for tuning